Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The question's come up numerous times. Why won't he sit for a closed-door deposition, which was brought up by my colleague, Mr. Bishop, earlier? I mean, I'm not sure what the issue is. Why won't he sit for a deposition? I think he's just.
Would the gentleman yield for an answer to that question?
I don't yield right now.
Mr. Fitzgerald controls the time.
I'm not sure why, but I'm sure it's the barrage of questions that, quite honestly, would probably incriminate him. My colleague, Mr. Ivey, earlier talked about being a private citizen. And the problem is that Hunter Biden has a business card, right? And I'm not sure how many business cards he has, but I think most of them would simply say the president's son, right? I mean, that's clearly what he's doing. I mean, if he's down the hallway today in oversight, willing to sit in the back row and smile at the members of Congress to defy, obviously, the subpoena, he still hasn't found a job like he was asked about by a judge much earlier in the year, last year. So it's straightforward that the president's son not only defied a legally issued subpoena, but both House and committee rules make it crystal clear, as many of my colleagues have said before, that we have subpoena authority, which was communicated on multiple occasions to the president's son and his counsel. His decision to ignore the deposition subpoenas in favor of a public hearing, it doesn't somehow absolve him from the constitutional mandated duty to comply. So there's been a lot of discussion about other items, I think, here today, but let's go back to the bottom line, and that is that he is under a subpoena by the U.S. House of Representatives to sit and comply with the subpoena. It's not a suggestion. It does not deserve special treatment. It is what it is. But more than that, his refusal to testify seems to support the notion that, he doesn't want to incriminate himself, which, I understand. Then simply take the fifth. Again, Mr. Bishop discussed this earlier. Is this simply kind of a charade in front of Congress to ultimately say, okay, I'd be willing to come in and sit? We don't know what he would say in a public hearing either. But this committee, Judiciary Committee, not only has the wherewithal, but the responsibility to take this seriously. We know through public record requests and the depositions of business associates and government officials that foreign money was received by the president's son and the Biden family. And that those payments led to favors or special treatment by the President of the United States. And that large, quote unquote, reimbursement checks were issued to President Biden shortly after that. We all know through testimony from the president's son and his business associate, Devin Archer, that President Biden was at the center of this family's business dealings. Mr. Archer put it, quote unquote, the brand. He was on speakerphone with his son approximately 20 times. He was allegedly sitting with his son when Hunter Biden pressured a Chinese energy company, and he received 10% for his troubles. It's a joke. It's on T-shirts. You board any airplane in America right now, and it says 10% for the big guy. Further, it appears that foreign nationals sought to influence public officials through their family members. This presents legal and ethical questions that need to be answered. And the president's son is afraid that a closed-door deposition may support some of these accusations. That's what's going on. I don't think anybody's being fooled by the discussion that's happening here today. So I just reiterate my support for the idea that we should continue to press to get the president's son in a deposition setting and get to the bottom of this so that the people of the United States of America understand that their president is not part of this. Unfortunately, I think he is. I yield back.